Hello, everyone. How you all doing? I hope by God's grace you're all doing well. As I'm pretty well over here. Just that I'm suffering from some troubling cold and coughing. But I pray to God He heals me so far. So probably you are going to hear different voice and everything in this particular session. But irrespective of the cold and cough, I still have to do my work, and we also have to respect that and listen to this recorded and watch the video too as well. Welcome to Academic Showdown POLI for Political Science, POLI 111, Scoop of Politics, Scoop of Political Science, sorry. My name is Bafu Joseph Japan, but you can call me Nana Bafu, you can call me Bafu, you can call me Nana. You could better still call me NB, and I'll respond to you respectively. So we have learned a whole lot, and we are going to continue today, the lecture 2, and that is the nation state and nation state. So the nation state and nation state are going to learn the concept of nation, the origin, and a whole lot. So yes, let's try and focus and dive into this particular slice while you comfortably watch this video with your notebook or your jotter or anything you could make some simple notes with. Okay, so the concept of nation, the origin. The word nation is derived from a Latin word natus, meaning birth, or a group into which man is born and has linkage with. So you could be born somewhere, you could be born in America, but you do not have linkage with America because you are not from America. You were just born over there. Your dad or your parents or whoever gave birth to you is so rich to send you there, give birth to you and bring you back. If you are born there, it doesn't mean you come from America because you don't have linkage with that with that nation. But maybe your mom is an Ashanti, your dad is an Ashanti, and you were born over there, but they brought you here to groom you here. Therefore, your nation is Ashanti because you have linkage over there. It is also linked to ethnicity from Greek word ethnos. So a nation therefore relates to ethnic groups in a state. In Ghana, for instance, there are 5 major nations in the state. They are Kande, Gwande, Evega, Adangwe, and Molitabani. Nigeria also has 3 major ones. We have the Igbo, we have the Yoruba, and we have the Hausa. So these are some of the nations in these various countries that we have mentioned about. Let's move on to the next slide. So what therefore is a nation? The term defines a single definition. According to Thomas and Peter Scotton, the term nation refers to people who share a common background, including any or all of the following: the geographical location, that's the nation has to have a geography, it has to have a territory where we could find it. If we want the Ashanti region, if we want the Ashanti as a nation, we know where we could find them. They are the Ashanti region. We know if we want the Ewe as a nation, we know where we could find them because they are where they are the Volta region. So it has to have a specific geographical location. We also have to have history. We also have to have history, the same historical context. We know I'm an Ashanti, so I'm going to use the Ashanti more often. It's not like I'm doing any ethnocentrism or racism over here, but pardon me if I don't mention your ethnic group. So the Ashanti has history of the golden stool. All the people of the Ashanti, they know the history about it because they are linked to it and they've been told, they've been educated and been informed about this particular history when Kofanochi came to the Ashanti region, blah, blah, commanded the golden stool to come from the sky and a whole lot of things. That's the history. We also have racial and ethnic characteristics that will lead to the religion, the language, culture, beliefs, and common political ideas. So the third nation is referred to people who share a common background, including any or all of the following. That's geographical location, history, racial and ethnic characteristics, religion, language, culture, beliefs, and common political ideas. What are some of the characteristics, some of the features, ethics of nation? Every nation has certain characteristics they include. So although we have several characteristics of a nation, it has to have these four major words, characteristics. So an example of a question could be the following are features of a nation, except population, history, government, then maybe we give you something else. Or all the following are not characteristics of a nation, except maybe name, maybe food, maybe level of education. Then the last one will be maybe history. Then you go in for that. These are the four big characteristics of a nation, even though we have several characteristics. So we have the population, we have the history, we have the territory and government. Population. Every nation has a population. The population is collected by a sense of oneness. People who share a common history, tradition, racial, and kinship ties. So the population doesn't mean it's not all about having people in there, but the people should be what connected by a sense of oneness. You could have people, you could have population, but there will be foreigners and aliens because they do not share the same historical context. They do not share the same history. They do not have the same tradition. They do not have the same racial or kinship ties, but there are people there. You cannot be regarded as a nation. That is when we regard the Palestinians, even though they don't have a specific territory, they do not have a specific geographical location due to the several wars they had. But they are still regarded as a nation because wherever they go in groups and they have the same ethnic background. You should know that definition is saying what you can what it includes any or all of the following. So the fact that it doesn't have territory doesn't mean it's not a nation, but maybe it doesn't have geographical location, but they have the same history, they have ethnic practices, they have the same language, religion, and they could be regarded as a nation. So it's not all about having people at this particular geographical area, but they are being connected by a sense of oneness. That's the key thing. The next feature is what? History. So nations are identified by their history. In Ghana, we could talk of the history of the accounts as I use the Confarachi. We could talk about events. We could talk about the several cultural practices they have, the Amamre and the Amane that they practices or they respect. Shows that yes, they have this same historical background. The history of each nation and ethnic group is unique to that group. Yes, you cannot one country, one nation can never practice two history. Cannot have two history. The history of the Ashanti, where it originated from, is different from the history of Eves and Ga. It's different from the issue of Yoruba. It's different from the issue of Hausa. They all have unique history, and that makes them an independent what? Nation. Because of its uniqueness in their various history. The history of a nation brings forth the culture, language, common ancestry of the people in question. So your history will bring your culture due to some historical context. That is why we practice maybe the Akweside. Due to the history of the God, that's why maybe we have our common language as Tree. The Ewe people, they speak their own. The Gatu, they speak Ga. The Yoruba people speak their Yoruba something. The Hausa, they do that. The Ga Adagbe to do does that. Yes, it is the history. That's what brings forth, that births out the culture, the cultural practices, the language, common ancestry, and all these things like that, like that, like that. The next thing to talk about is the territory. Every nation has a territory. The territory indicates a specific area of land on which the nation is found. In Ghana, the ethnic groups or nations are located in specific territories. If you want the Ghana as a nation, you will come to Greater Accra. That's where they are. If you want the Ebes, you go to the Volta region. If we want the what? The Ashanti, the Ghana, that's where we go to the Ashanti region. There is no way the Ashanti region, the Ghana can be a nation, the Ashanti region also be a nation, the Volta region. No. They all have specific places that they perform their day-to-day activities. However, not every nation has a territory. For instance, the Jews before 1948, they don't have a territory. That's what I said about. They lost their territory due to what? Numerous wars, especially with the Greeks and Romans. So because of their wars, they had to fly. They had to leave their countries. They have to go and live in tents at several places. They have to be foreigners, travel to different countries, but yet they are regarded as nation because of the sense of oneness. These kinship ties that bound them, they share the same ideological content, even though they do not have their history, but they live together. They share the same cultural values and practices, and therefore they are regarded as a nation. Because of that, they became scattered all over the world. They carried the ideas of their own nation around wherever they went. That is all. Please give me a few seconds. Please, I'm sorry about that. I had to attend to something. Yes, so that is all about the territory. They were scattered because of their wars, they were scattered all over the world, but they carried the idea of their nation around wherever they went, and therefore they are still regarded as nation. The next feature to talk about is government. Every nation has a government. By government, we refer to the two categories of people. We have the leaders, the rulers, those who rule, and the people, those who are being ruled, or the people who are being what ruled. In Ghana, the nations have their government. The government relates to the traditional leaders and chiefs and their subjects or people. So the government, we have the Asante, he was 2 4 say to 2. It's also I was sorry that yes. I can't deal. Yes. So every nation has its governments, people who rule them. We have the local chiefs and every like Odikro and those kind of things that rule, they make the laws and everything. The people or the subjects obey the rulers. The relationship between the rulers and the rule in the management of the affairs of the nation constitute government of that nation. Because let's say this one, a sentence, we have the subject, we have the verb, and we have the object. So the boys killed the snake. The boys, those who rule, and they perform an action by implementing policies, by making laws to affect the people in that territory that they rule. So in the sentence, the boys killed the snake. The boys are those who rule. The action that they performed was to kill. And who was affected? The snake. So here, the kings and local chiefs are the what? The subject. They perform their duties by protecting and ensuring peace and order in the state by making laws and everything to regulate the behavior of the people in that particular nation. That's the verb. And the people as the object are being affected by what? These particular rules and regulations that are being implemented by the government. I hope it is clear enough. So therefore, let's know the concept of a state. Before we talk about the nation, we've defined the nation, we've given these various characteristics, and I have explained them. So what is the concept of the state? Noli. That's okudiba. Okudiba. Noli. Defines the state as that entity which has the following characteristics. Sorry. Okudiba Noli defines the state as that entity which has the following characteristics, which has the following features. They have the population, they have the government, they have the territory, they have the monopoly of the use of force within the territory, which is held by the government. So the government has the sole authority to use force or violence with its territory. They can only do that in their territory. The president of Ghana cannot go and use force in the US. The plane in Ukraine are bombing. That's the same thing that the president of Russia, the president of USA cannot come and use force in Ghana. Also drew a crowd, yes, you are bombing. Yes. So your force and authority is being limited at your particular territory. This includes maintaining law and order, enforcing law. That is, the state has the ultimate power and control over the use of force in a country. It is the state only that has the ultimate power. So among which of the following has the entities has the ultimate power? You see the president. A, the president. B, the police service. C, the military service. E, the state. F, none of the above. These are certain questions that you are going to meet. These are the primary questions that you are going to meet. Then the rest, Kwame will put down a question, then what you have learned in class, you use it to answer some of the current affairs that is going on there. I'm sorry. You use what you have learned to answer some of the current affairs in Ghana or in Africa, even in the world. So you have to sit down and think about it. Sometimes you could type those ones. Sometimes too, if you are lucky enough, they could be multiple choice questions. Those kind of thinking questions. That's why you always say read and relate. You cannot just come and read a book. Power is the ability to induce obedience. State is blah blah blah. Then you go, what is state? Then you see the definition there. No. We tell you that any fool, any Yahoo can do that. That one was SHS. This time around, you read and apply. Now, why is it that a father in the house can tell the kids to sleep at 6 p.m. and they do that? Then you use what you have learned in class, that the father has the ultimate power in that particular family, and therefore can induce obedience of the children, even though they are not willing to sleep. But due to the power of the father, he can the children have no other option than to do the father's bidding. You see, although you have learned power, the ability to induce obedience, but you've used what you have learned to answer that question. These are some of the questions that you are going to get, and we are going to do a session whereby we answer questions only. That's why when people ask me questions, they listen to the record and they ask me questions. I've not answered them. I'll be jotting them down. So whatever you ask, you listen to the record and you have a question, type in the comment section, or you could better still send it to me on my WhatsApp DM, then I jot it down. We have a particular session on that. So therefore, let's look at the characteristics of the state. So the first characteristic is the population. We have done these things in the day sheet, so I think just brush through them. No state can exist without a population. The population of a state refers to the people within the state. The population of the state is made up of citizens and aliens. So what is the difference between the population of a nation and the population of the state? This one could be a question. He will just state it and he tell you to type. We've had such questions. So when you see a question like this, the population of a nation includes people who have the sense of oneness. They are connected by the sense of oneness. But the population of a state could have people with a sense of oneness and also aliens and foreigners from other countries. Don't you have Chinese in our country? Don't you have Black Americans in our country? Does it mean that they are not part of our population? They are part. They are part of our population. So the population of the state is made up of citizens and aliens. The size of the population does not matter. That's why China, they are many. Ghana, we are not too many. We are still a state because you have a population. There is no minimum or maximum population to make a state. Just have the people, have the government, have the territory, have sovereignty, have a force, whatever. They just have the features of a state, and you be regarded as a state. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not feeling well. That's why I've been sleeping. But I hope I'll be well. Let's get back. The population of a state can be as dense or high as China, with about a fifth of the world's population. It could also be as low as Tuvalu, with a population of about 1,300 in 2016 population census. What matters is both citizens and aliens are under a single government that controls their affairs. That's the only thing that matters. It's all about the number of people you have or it being higher or less. Just have a single government that controls the affairs of these people, which is the citizens and the aliens. The territory. It is an essential part of the state. The territory has three components. The territory has three components. We have the land on which the state occupies. We have the airspace above the land. And have the sea limit, a portion of the sea that belongs to the state. That's why we have these marine officers at our sea, our coastal areas. We also have people who work due to our land space, like the airspace. And we also have people who work at the land. So the land has three, the territory of the state has three entities. For an example, the following are the three entities of a territory in a particular state, except it doesn't mean you're always going to get these states except to. Nah, I'm used to them. That's why I always keep them like that. Then we have land, we have airspace, we have sea, whatever, and it could give you something different. Sometimes they are too similar. Sometimes you could even misspell them. Land, maybe you could do it. Land, airspace, sea limit, land, airspace, gravel, land, airspace, country, land, airspace, maybe airspace, sea limit, states. Maybe then you will tell you AI, B, A, and I only. That kind of question. So if you don't know, if you have not listened to the record, if you have not read the textbook, if you don't go for lectures, if you don't go for tutorials with your TAs, I'm just a student. I'm just trying to help you wake up whatever you are being taught. If you don't do these kind of things, never will you pass. Trust me, political science, you guys haven't done your first. I'm not here to scare you. But it's not easy. Just read your books, watch the videos. Sometimes I come to my YouTube channel and I come and watch the views, and I just laugh. 100 views 1 week. Well, check your level 200. I can post a video one night, less than 2 hours, 300 views, because they know what? They know what the videos has done for them. And they know when they didn't watch it and they went to fail, but when they started learning, they passed. Tell your friends to watch. Tell your friends to join the study group. I'm doing this to help all of you. No one is paying me. Even YouTube is not paying me because I've not met their necessary things to be paid. But I'm always sacrificing, even though I'm ill right now, but I'm still helping you guys. So please don't let my work be in vain. I know you guys will never do that. Let's come back to it. So yes, the territory has three components: the land, the airspace, and the sea limits. There can be those states without a territory. Not every state has a territory. The Palestinians, the Jews, I know we've already talked about that due to their numerous wars. The government, states, whether constitutional or otherwise, have people who direct their affairs. Whether constitutional or otherwise means that there could be a constitution in a democratic state, but there could also be coup d'etat or an autocratic state. Even those autocratic states, we still have people who rule them. We have these people who make the laws, who make state decisions. So that's why I say that whether constitutional or otherwise, have people who direct their affairs. Those people who direct the affairs of the state are rulers, and the other ones are ruled. Those who are being governed are ruled. Rulers have the power to make rules, decisions, and use all necessary institutions to enforce under their control to maintain their authority. Some of these institutions include what should I say? The police, the military, but they are responsible for upholding the law and protect the citizens. So the state could use these institutions to promote law and order when there's conflict or there is war. Ashama, our time, yes, our time. The example was the time that Ashama, the military men went to go and beat people in Ashama because they were misbehaving over there. So Kwame brought a question and we were to justify whether, like, it's not easy, but it shall be well. The machinery of the government constitutes an important means through which rules are maintained. State maintains itself. State make use of cohesion to maintain itself. That's the use of force or power through these institutions such as the military and those kind of things. The next feature is sovereignty. No state can exist without sovereignty. Sovereignty relates to the power the state possesses, which enable it to exercise final legal authority over the territory and the people it controls without limitations on its powers. Sovereignty enables the state to exist and enforce its decisions without any opposition. The sovereign nature of the state makes it distinct from other entities within the state. So, the state has the final authority over the people and its jurisdiction, but not beyond it. That's why I said the US president cannot come and exercise sovereignty here. No, we have our own president who can do that. And what the president, when you look at the point, the what sovereignty enables the state to exist and enforce a decision without any opposition. We were here when the president, as the head of state in Ghana, pronounced a lockdown during COVID-19. He has that power. He's the head of state. The sovereignty, as a feature of the state, has given him that power, that legitimate power to pronounce a lockdown. And if you are a lady or a man, go out and go and work, you see what will happen to you. He has a power. The president can say that there is not going to be any buying and selling. We are all cooking. The president can say that no one should give someone birthday gifts. Birthday, just see your party and have fun together. He has that power to pronounce that. So when you could give your partner a birthday gift indoor, but if you give your partner a birthday gift and you see, that's what you see. I think said this one, the boys are happy. Yes, that's all part of it. The sovereign nature of the state makes it distinct from what? From others. Nobody has the ultimate power to challenge the state. It is only the state. So if you are an institution, if you are the media, you cannot come and challenge the state that the state has said this and you don't understand. The only way you can only challenge it when it does not reflect or it does not serve the interest of majority of the people. That's when it infringes on the people's rights that you say that the people should not own properties in this. No, come on, you can't say that. The next sub feature is legitimate use of force. The state is the only entity that uses force. Nobody or entity can use force without the permission of the state. Force is used when laws are applied, and the use of force is regarded as legitimate when it is backed by law. I don't think a lecture someone can just come and tell you to leave the lecture room. Your colleague student will tell you to leave the lecture room. But you could be forced by Dr. Kwame Asante to leave the lecture room because it has the entity to use force. He has the power. He controls and regulates the class. He could tell the TAs to get out. The only time TAs can tell you to get out is when they have been what? Giving some power to make you get out. I don't think one gentleman sitting beside you can tell you, my dear, get out, and you just get up and you get out. If he doesn't take care, you get 2 dirty slaps from you. But I think he won't do that. Force is used when laws are applied. Yes, there could be law that so and so and so should not happen. And if it happens, this and that is what is going to happen. There's a law that anyone who plans to have a coup d'etat in the country will face consequences. That's why the president pronounced death sentence for a particular group of people. I don't know if it's a person or people for planning a coup d'etat. He has the force. He used the legitimate force to do that. The last but not the least feature is system of laws. A state must have its set of laws it used to govern the people. Laws are meant to regulate the conduct of people. Without laws, no state can operate properly. Laws make different forms, namely constitutional provisions, the bylaws, acts of the parliament. And what? Acts are laws that are passed by the parliament and they affect everyone in the state. And the bylaws are made by local authorities and only affect the selection of people. So the bylaws could be in the nation, could be the type of chieftaincy, whereby the chiefs make laws and it affects the people in that particular local area, but cannot go and affect other people. But the bylaws, they are made at the parliament, the legislation at the parliament, and it affects everyone. E-levy affects everyone. If there is no e-levy, it's going to affect everyone. You have to have a system of laws. That's why we have our 1992 constitution. We've had several constitutions because we're in the fourth republic, but the current one we are using is the 1992 constitution, and it's serving as a system of law, something that we are using to regulate the people. If there is no law, people are going to do whatever they want, because they know that if they do it, they are not going to have any consequences. But the laws are going to make you aware that if you do this and you are being caught, this is what is going to happen to you. Therefore, you do not do it. The last one we are going to do is we are going to talk about the origin of the state. Then we will finish. Our next recording will be on the theories. I wish I could skip the origin of the state over here, then add it to the next one, but the next one is quite longer. So let me just rush or talk us through the origin of the state, then we end our lecture for this particular session. The origin of the state. The state is perhaps the most central concept of the study of politics. Because when we study politics, we have political ideas. And if there's no state, why are we studying politics? Because it's the state that has the people, it's the state that has the territory and everything. It's the state that has the government. So it is what? The central concept in the study of politics. This means that the study of politics revolves around the state. In terms of world affairs, the state is relatively a new concept. The state came into being in 1648 after the Treaty of Westphalia was signed. The state came into being in 1648. Please, let's note this date too. When did the state come into being? The state came into being in 1648 after the Treaty of Westphalia was signed. Before the coming into being of state, there were nations, kingdoms, communities on the surface of the earth. This means that while state is what recent, nation is ancient. It means it has historical background, a long historical background. It has a long history and has been in existence for a significant period of time. So what is the Treaty of Westphalia? This was a treaty or formal agreement which ended the 30 Years' War and marked the birth of the modern state. The war was caused, the cause of the war is traced to a revolution that occurred in the Catholic Church. So let's know the cause of the war. The war in the Catholic Church before the Treaty of Westphalia was primarily caused by religious conflicts and power struggle. Different factions within the Catholic Church, such as the Catholics and the Protestant groups, had different beliefs and interpretations of Christianity. These differences led to tensions, disputes, and ultimate armed conflict between various European powers and the Catholic Church. The Treaty of Westphalia, signed in 1648, helped break an end to these wars by establishing principles of religious tolerance and recognizing the sovereignty of individual states. So the war was caused because the people in the church had different perspective of Christianity, and the popes and those kind of people wanted to decide a particular religion the people should have. But the Protestants, which was led by Martin Luther, began to fight the elders in the church because they cannot force them to do certain things that they want to do. They cannot decide a particular religion that they want to have. So they fought for 30 years until they finally began to tolerate each of their different religious backgrounds and everything. Then therefore, they had to sign a treaty, or they had to go on a formal agreement that they are ending this 30 years war. Therefore, everyone will be tolerated to have its particular religion. And that's all about the war. So some of the people in the church protested against certain negative practices in the church. People who protested were known as the Protestants, and their leader was Martin Luther. To save their church, state and authority, popes and emperors fought the Protestants in 30 Years' War. So I think I've talked about the war. So later, states also joined the war. Hey, if every state is there, if you don't see any states, you see France and Germany. Or when they to count. So later, states also joined the war. We have the notable among them were the Spain, the Denmark, we have the France, we have Germany, we have the Netherlands, and we have the Sweden. The war went through 4 phases, which the Treaty of Westphalia was signed in 1648 to mark an end of the war. So the first phase was the Bohemian phase. The second phase was the Danish phase. The third phase was the Swedish phase. And the fourth phase was the French phase. All you have to know at this level is what? The names of these several phases. You go into details as you go, but at this stage, you have to know the Bohemian phase, you have to know the Danish phase, you have to know the Swedish phase, and you have to know the French phase. The slides didn't provide them, but when you read the book, you get to know these things. Even to teach you, I have to read your book before I'll be able to teach. But so if you depend only on the slides, if you go and find some slides, and there are certain key things that you miss. You could go, this would be an examinable question. They will list some of the phases and mix them with others, and you might choose the wrong one. So the treaty also marked the beginning of the modern state. It established the constitutional and legal status of a state. Because before the state, we had kingdoms, we have communities, and we have nations. We had nations. But it was after the 30-year war and the treaty or the peaceful agreement was finally made that we had the constitutional and legal status of a state. The treaty prevented states from interfering in the affairs of others. Other states, including rulers of states, having right to dictate the religion of those they rule, as it was once agreed at the Peace of Augsburg in 1555, where the rulers of the German-speaking states and Charles V, the emperor, agreed to accept this principle referred to as blah 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 regio. I can't mention these days, but I think when you look at them, you'll be able to mention. Rulers dictate the religion of their own people than other rulers outside. So it was after this treaty, that was when every state had the power and sovereignty to what? To regulate the day-to-day administration of the people in its particular jurisdiction. You could not interfere because we had already signed a bond. You could not determine the particular religion a particular state should have. But the leaders of that particular state, in collaboration with the people, will run their own affairs, and you also run your own affairs in your state. I think we have come to an end of it. The next video will be on the theories of the state's importance, similarities between state and nation. Then we move on and move on and move on. Thank you so much for listening to this particular session. And please don't forget to sign and subscribe. Please. You don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much once again. Peace. Bye-bye. I'm out.